How to live. First of all, in Matthew 6:33, it says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you." Are you doing that? 1 Thessalonians 5:22, "Abstain from all appearance of evil." We don't do that. It's around us everywhere. And the temptations there, the devil's trying to deceive everybody every day, all the time. It says, "Bring your tithes to the storehouse," Malachi 3:10. Are we doing that? I need to do a whole lot better job on that. With the Lord showing me the way, we're going to do better. Ephesians 4:32. It says, "Be kind to one another, forgive one another." People, we all make mistakes, we're human. How many times have we said something to somebody and we wish that we hadn't? We wish we just could turn around, and sometimes I bit my tongue as quick as it got out of my mouth. But the tongue is a two-edged sword, as we all know, and we got to be careful of that. But every good thing that we have in this country is based on the Bible. Our laws, our hospitals, our children's homes, and every humanitarian institution in the United States is based on the Bible. And we need to learn the Bible, we need to love the Bible, and we are to live the Bible. God help us all to do that. And when I'm talking to you all, I'm talking to me more than I am to thee, because we do need to do that. The fourth foundation that's crummy is the love for Christ's church. Back when you're going to school, you may have seen pictures of the old pilgrims going to church, and the daddy, of course, they had to, back in those days, there's a lot of dangers from animals or Indians or whatever, and they'd carry an old gun with them over his shoulder, and they'd have the Bible, and they'd be going to church. And they knew that then that they needed, because, this was the thing that these people came to this country for, so they could have religious freedom. And they knew that they needed the strength that the Lord would give them for that. But God has given us a church down here to give us this strength. And a lot of people just ignore going to church. They don't want to go to church. And we can't be a strong people. I used to say and think, you don't have to go to church. Well, you probably don't to be saved. But he also says, "Forsake not the assembling of yourselves." And this is what often we fail. When people don't come to church, they can sit home and they're missing so much, because we need the strength that we gather from each other. And so God help us to do that. We see a lot of men who are faithful to their wives and their home, but they don't want to go to church on Sunday. And yet through the week, you'll find them at their place of business or out what job they have. So I read a story one time about these two guys. They were out fishing. And when 11 o'clock came, one of the guys said to the other one, he said, "It's 11 o'clock. Said, we ought to be in church, listen to the pastor." And the other was like, "I couldn't go to church. At home, my wife's sick." But he was able to think about that a few months. But why do men neglect the church? When the Lord has done more for them than anybody else. Jesus loved the church and he gave himself for it. And if you love it, you'll do your best. So I encourage all of you, wherever you're supposed to go to church, you be there on Sunday. We need a church not just for a place to go, but like I said, for we can strengthen each other. The results of this neglect of all this is there's been a lowering of our entire national life. We have crooked politics and crooked politicians. And my God, if they've ever, in heaven, if there's ever been a time like that, all we got to do is listen to the news. And it just makes me want to sick. I've got just about to the point I don't even listen to stuff anymore. I mean, it's just one thing right after another, day after day. Another result of this neglect is broken homes. We see so much of that. And as a principal, I had to deal with so many broken home children. Little kids are the ones that suffer so much for this, you know. And it's really sad when our homes should, if people would center their homes on Christ, we wouldn't have this problem. Another result of this is the broken hearts of parents. You know, I see so many things. This teen challenge, and this young lady was mentioning about her addiction. The teen challenge folk come down here. I don't know where you go, but I don't know if she went to the teen challenge or not. But I get such a blessing from those people because I've got friends that have kids and they're dealing with this addiction problem, and it's such a sad thing. And I've got friends of mine, and I've got kids. And one of my buddies I was talking to last night, he's got a daughter, 10 years old, and I told him, I said, you know, you guys need to go to church. You need to get that child in church. But people, I don't know, it's just hard. I guess, like I said, when they've not been to church, it filters on down. So anyway, the thing about it is we all need to get God turned into the homes. Tonight I encourage you parents, when you go home, go into the room where your children's at and just thank God for them and ask God, get down on your knees and ask God, what can I do to make sure my children know all about the goodness of God? I encourage you so much to do that. In conclusion, I'll tell you this brief story. This is a story, it's over in Edinburgh, Scotland. There's a famous water fountain, and it's called Greyfriars Bottle. And the story behind this was there was a guy by the name of John Gray. He couldn't find a job as a gardener, so he got a job as a night watchman. And he had this little Skye Terrier named Bobby. And he and Bobby became quite, everybody knew who Bobby was because he carried the old lantern when he went out of the nighttime. And John developed pneumonia and he died. And when the funeral procession was going taking John to the funeral, to the resting place, the little dog had followed him all the way to the graveyard. And when they buried him, that dog lay on his grave. And for 14 years, that dog lay, and they weren't even supposed to, animals wasn't even supposed to be there, but because this dog was so faithful, one of the people there fed that dog every day. And like I said, he was 16 years old, and he was there for 14 years. And one night, it got real cold and snowy, and the next morning, the sexton got up and he looked, and there was just a big lump out there, and it was covered with snow. And so when he went out and he checked, and Bobby had laid there, and Bobby was dead. But the point behind all this, if a dog can be that faithful to a master like that, I want to challenge you, how much more faithful should we all be to our wonderful Savior that died for us, and He's there for us all the time? I encourage you tonight, and thank you all so much, because like I said, I'm at the climactic for what you all did. But I thank you for listening to me. I thank you for the opportunity to stand before you tonight. I love all of you, and Aaron, I'll turn it over to you now, brother.
Emily, where are you at? You come and your group come and let's sing a little bit of Good Good Father. Have a little invitation and open the altar if anybody wants to come and pray. The gospel has been presented here tonight in song and in word. We have a lot to be thankful for. And I would encourage you tonight. Let's all stand and we'll sing together. Just good to be in the house of the Lord tonight.
It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. I know it's who I am. It's who I am.
Say this verse with me. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Let's say that together. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Shake a hand, hug a neck, and be dismissed tonight. So good to see you.